legendary music mogul, trendsetter, producer extraordinaire, arranger, jazz musician, you name it, he had it all. Cue Quincy Jones, dead at 91. I'm Michael Douglas. Welcome to Dr. Pundit, where we talk about music, not medicine. And on this edition, my analysis on the life of Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones did die at the age of 91. He was surrounded by family and friends at his home in Los Angeles, and the news was first reported by the Associated Press. His family did put out a statement. Tonight, with full but broken hearts, we must share the news of our father and brother Quincy Jones's passing. And although this is an incredible loss for our family, we celebrate the great life that he lived and know that there will never be another like him. He is truly one of a kind, and we will miss him dearly. We take comfort and immense pride in knowing the love and joy that were the essence of his being was shared with the world through all that he created. Through his music and his boundless love, Quincy Jones's heart will beat for eternity. Quite a heartfelt statement by his family. The musician is basically survived by 7 children. Now, of course, a lot of people know this. He narrowly escaped death 50 years ago when he was just 41 in 1974. He basically was diagnosed with a brain aneurysm and underwent surgery, but was told soon after that he had a second aneurysm that was very, very large and could rupture at any time. And at the time, he was told that he had a 1 in 100 chance of surviving. Well, we all know what happened there. He told GQ magazine in 2018, "It was scary, like somebody blew my brains out. The main artery to your brain explodes, you know." Born on March 14th, 1933, the Chicago native first rose to prominence as a trumpet player in bands for jazz music greats, including Lionel Hampton and Dizzy Gillespie. And at age 14, Quincy Jones fled from the quarters of his abusive stepmother, whom he said didn't call him by name until he was 57 years old, to join the National Guard. He lied and said he was 18, but was met with extreme racism at that time. It has also been reported that he was involved in a vehicle accident outside of Yakima, Washington, when he was with a group of friends and basically a bus hit them and everybody died except for Quincy Jones. The scene was gruesome and left him, of course, physically and emotionally traumatized. And believe it or not, he never drove again. I guess he never had a reason to drive again, I suppose. So let's talk about his accomplishments. His credits were, of course, vast, and his accomplishments were enormous. As producer and arranger, Quincy Jones was partially behind the success of several music giants, including, of course, Michael Jackson, Thriller, Frank Sinatra, Paul Simon, Aretha Franklin, and so many more. He even produced Leslie Gore's #1 hit from 1963, "It's My Party," when Quincy Jones was only 16 at the time. The single went to #1 and made Gore one of the youngest singers to reach that zenith. He also produced 3 top 5 follow-ups that year: "Judy's Turn to Cry," "She's a Fool," and "You Don't Own Me," my favorite track by her. In the 1970s, he worked his production magic on albums by the Brothers Johnson, a funk duo from Los Angeles who lost Best New Artist to, believe it or not, the Starland Vocal Band, Afternoon Delight. He also produced many of their albums, and 3 of their songs that hit top 10 on Billboard's pop charts, including Stomp from 1980, Strawberry Letter 23, and Good to You. His work with the Brothers Johnson just can't be understated. I still listen to those tracks today. Of course, Michael Jackson. Everybody knows about this. The production giant behind his 1979 Off the Wall album, 1982-83 Thriller album, and 1987 Bad album. Of course, Thriller would launch Michael Jackson into global superstardom. Now, Billie Jean, the second single from Thriller, would become one of the most iconic hits of the 1980s, and Beat It was one of the most influential. That was the third single from Thriller. Not only did Quincy Jones produce that song, but Beat It became iconic because of the Eddie Van Halen guitar virtuosity in that track. He also revived Human Nature, the fourth top 10 hit from the album, peaking at number 7, a throwaway track, if you can believe that, co-written and demoed by Steve Porcaro from the band Toto on the album. And I think the more people knew about that song, the more classic Human Nature has become as an influence. Now, in a 2018 interview with the music culture magazine Vulture, Jones assessed his decades of innovation. Everything was something to be proud of, absolutely. It's been an amazing contrast of genres. Since I was very young, I played all kinds of music. Bar mitzvah music, Sousa marches, strip club music, jazz, pop, everything. I didn't have to learn a thing to do Michael Jackson. And in talking to GQ, he further elaborated on what made his work with Michael Jackson so iconic. He had that perspective on details that was unmatched. His idols are Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, James Brown, all of that. And he paid attention. And that's what you're supposed to do. That's the only way you can be great, is pay attention to the best guys who ever did it. Now, Jones also co-produced and conducted an all-star choir on We Are the World, written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie for famine relief in Africa. Now, you can see that show right here on Dr. Pundit. Just do a search for We Are the World. Now, that song would go on to be the top-selling single of 1985 and win 4 Grammys. And Jones' admonition to everybody who participated, i.e., check your egos at the door, became another iconic utterance from Quincy Jones. Not many people realize that Quincy Jones had a hand in the 1982 Donna Summer album, her self-titled album, the one that produced the top 10 hit Love Is in Control, Finger on the Trigger. Well, Quincy Jones produced a track called State of Independence from that same album. He says he got the gig for the 1985 single We Are the World because of the production on that Donna Summer track, where he said he needed a choir. He needed a lot of artists to sing backup on that State of Independence track. And if you haven't heard that track, please listen to it. It's very good. It should have been a big hit. And so he said he could offer a lot to the table for the 1985 We Are the World single based upon that production job he had in 1982. Go figure. He added about that experience, I know and believe in the power of music to bring people together for the betterment of mankind, and there may be no better example of this than the collective that was We Are the World. And that's why it resonated around the world the way it did and still does. He also arranged and produced the music for sitcoms. Of course, the most famous of this was Sanford & Son, but he also worked on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from the early 90s. That would begin, of course, Will Smith's ascension into stardom and superstardom and eventually to Oscar glory. Now, as an artist, he also composed the score for the 1985 film The Color Purple. That production was nominated for an Oscar. Jones's 1974 album, The Quintessential Body Heat, peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200 album chart. He also recorded a string of albums on which he used an assortment of star vocalists, including James Ingram, Chaka Khan, and Ray Charles. He went platinum in 1978 with Sounds and Stuff Like That, 1981's The Dude, which introduced James Ingram and Patty Austin to the masses, and 1989's Back on the Block, which introduced Tevin Campbell to the masses. They all spawned top 40 hits. And in 1980, he established his own label, Quest Records, whose signees included George Benson, who was well into his career at that point. Fun fact, Gimme the Night, his huge top 5 pop and R&B hit, produced by Quincy Jones on that label, Quest. And of course, the aforementioned James Ingram and Patty Austin on the #1 smash in 1982, Baby Come to Me. Quincy Jones was married 3 times, to Jerry Caldwell from 1957 to 1966, Ulla Andersson, a Swedish actress from 1967 to 1974, and the Mod Squad actress Peggy Lipton from 1974 to 1990. Now, although Quincy Jones's output slowed in the past 10 years or so, as a lifelong civil rights activist and supporter of Martin Luther King, Quincy Jones continued to contribute to charitable causes and worked on the soundtrack to the 2024 album Lola. Now, as far as retirement was concerned, just a mere 6 years ago in 2018, he told GQ that, "I feel like a child, man. I'm just starting." That's my take on the life and career of Quincy Jones, dead at the age of 91. An RIP right here on Dr. Pundit. I'm Michael Douglas, and if you like what you see here, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And until next time, as the late great Barry White always used to say, let the music play, and I'll see you on the next episode.